Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the quantum readings scrolling across her holographic display, her third cup of coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. The numbers couldn't be right, yet they kept repeating with each iteration of the experiment. Her team's attempt to create a more efficient propulsion system had unexpectedly revealed something far more profound. "Run it again," she ordered the lab's AI, her voice hoarse from hours of continuous work. This was the 47th test today, but she had to be absolutely certain before taking this to Director Matthews. The quantum scanner hummed to life, its crystalline array casting a soft blue glow throughout the underground facility. Sarah watched as her test subject, Dr. James Kumar, focused his thoughts on the experimental engine core. The quantum field measurements spiked immediately, forming patterns that defied conventional physics. "James, are you seeing this?" Sarah called out, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "The quantum field is responding directly to your neural patterns." James opened his eyes, careful to maintain his mental focus. It's like the particles are dancing with my thoughts, Sarah. I can feel them responding." The discovery had been accidental. They'd been working on improving humanity's fledgling FTL drive to match alien standards when Sarah noticed odd fluctuations in the quantum field whenever researchers were actively observing the experiments. Most scientists would have dismissed it as measurement error. Sarah had dug deeper. A soft chime announced the arrival of Director Elena Matthews. The older woman moved with purposeful strides, her practical uniform bearing the logo of the Earth Defense Initiative. "Dr. Chen, your urgent message said you found something revolutionary. Please tell me it's good news. The Galactic Council's latest technology assessment is in, and they're threatening to revoke even our provisional membership." Sarah took a deep breath. "Director, we've discovered something that makes our relative technological ranking irrelevant. Human consciousness can directly manipulate quantum fields, not just observe or influence them, actively control them." Elena's expression remained carefully neutral, but Sarah caught the slight widening of her eyes. "Explain." "Every species in the galaxy builds their technology on the assumption that consciousness is merely an observer of quantum phenomena," Sarah said, pulling up her data. "But look at these patterns. Human brainwaves don't just collapse quantum states. They can shape them, guide them. We're not just observers, we're participants in quantum reality." "The implications," Elena started, "are almost unlimited," Sarah finished. "We don't need to copy alien FTL technology. We can develop something entirely new. Engines powered by human consciousness itself, working with quantum fields in ways their physics says are impossible." James joined them at the display, his dark eyes bright with excitement. "The aliens think we're primitive because we don't understand their science. But their science doesn't understand us. Human consciousness has properties they've never encountered before." Elena studied the data in silence for a long moment. "How quickly can you develop a prototype?" "That's the thing," Sarah said, allowing herself a small smile. "We already have one. The quantum drive we've been testing. It's been responding to human consciousness all along. We just didn't realize it. With proper focusing technology, we could have a consciousness-driven ship ready for testing within months. And the aliens won't see it coming," Elena mused. "Their sensors are calibrated to detect conventional quantum technologies. They'll never expect ships powered by consciousness itself." She straightened, decision made. "This is now a top priority project, classified at the highest levels. Dr. Chen, you have whatever resources you need. Build me a ship that will make the galaxy rethink their definition of primitive." As Elena left to make the necessary arrangements, Sarah turned back to her data. The quantum field still danced in response to human thought, holding promises that would reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. They had been so focused on catching up to alien technology that they'd missed their own unique advantage. The aliens had mastered quantum mechanics through technology. Humanity was about to show them that consciousness itself was the key to unlocking the universe's deepest secrets. And when their first consciousness-driven ship took flight, The galaxy would learn that dismissing humanity as primitive had been their greatest mistake. Sarah began drafting plans for the prototype, her mind already racing with possibilities. They weren't just building a new kind of ship. They were about to rewrite the rules of what was possible. The coffee beside her had gone completely cold, forgotten in the excitement of discovery. They had found humanity's edge, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Marcus Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the ECS Quantum Dream, humanity's first consciousness-driven starship, watching the massive alien station grow larger in the viewscreen. After 6 months of intensive development and testing, they were about to show the galaxy what humanity had achieved. Incoming transmission from Galactic Council Station Alpha, reported Lieutenant Aisha Patel from her communications station. They're demanding we submit to standard technological scans before docking. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Let them scan. They won't find anything they understand. The Quantum Dream was unlike any other ship in the galaxy. Its hull contained no conventional propulsion systems, no recognizable FTL drive. Instead, the ship's heart was a crystalline quantum core that resonated with the combined consciousness of its crew. Dr. Chen's discovery had evolved into something far beyond their initial expectations. Council ships moving to escort positions, Tactical Officer John Chang announced. 3 Varaxian heavy cruisers. They're probably expecting to have to tow us in when our primitive drive fails. The alien vessels were sleek and powerful, their hulls gleaming with advanced technology. 6 months ago, such ships would have intimidated any human crew. Now, Marcus felt only anticipation. Neural synchronization at optimal levels, reported Dr. Emily Santos from the Quantum Control Station. The ship's consciousness is fully aligned with the crew. That had been the most unexpected development. The quantum core didn't just respond to human consciousness. It had developed a form of awareness itself, working in harmony with its crew to achieve things that should have been impossible. Council Control is transmitting docking instructions, Aisha said. They're being rather condescending about it. Let's show them something new, Marcus ordered. Dr. Santos, initiate quantum translation. Emily closed her eyes, connecting with the ship's consciousness. Around them, reality shifted. The quantum dream didn't so much move through space as rearrange space around itself. In an instant, they were at their designated docking port, having bypassed the escort ships entirely. Council ships are in chaos, John reported, unable to hide his grin. Their sensors show multiple contradictory readings. They can't figure out how we moved. Council Control is demanding an explanation, Aisha added. The station administrator himself is coming to meet us. Marcus straightened his uniform. Good. Time to rewrite their understanding of physics. The meeting chamber aboard the station was packed with representatives from 24 spacefaring species. Administrator Venka, a tall, crystalline being from an elder race, regarded the human delegation with barely concealed disdain. Explain your vessel's movement, he demanded. It violated all known laws of spatial translation. Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward, her presence commanding despite her small stature. Administrator, we didn't violate the laws of physics. We simply understand them better than you do. A ripple of outrage moved through the alien delegates. Sarah activated a holographic display, showing quantum field patterns that danced and shifted in response to human thought. Your civilizations mastered quantum mechanics through technology, she continued. You built machines to manipulate quantum states, but consciousness itself is a quantum phenomenon, and human consciousness has unique properties your species have never explored. Impossible, declared a Varaxian scientist. Consciousness is merely an observer of quantum effects, not a participant. Watch, Sarah said simply. She closed her eyes, connecting with the quantum field generator she brought. The holographic display erupted with patterns as reality itself rippled around her. Small objects in the room began to float as local gravitational fields responded to her thoughts. This is an abomination, Venka declared. You cannot simply ignore the fundamental laws of physics. We're not ignoring them, Marcus interjected. We're showing you that they're far more complex than you imagined. The quantum dream doesn't need conventional drives because it moves by consciousness-directed quantum translation. Your sensors can't track it because they're designed to detect technology, not thought. Our ships can do more than just move, Sarah added. Human consciousness, working in harmony with quantum fields, can reshape local reality in ways your science says are impossible. We're not primitive, Administrator. We're just different. The chamber erupted in chaos as delegates argued about the implications. Some were terrified, others fascinated. A group of younger species representatives were already approaching Sarah with questions. Marcus watched it all with quiet satisfaction. The galaxy had dismissed humanity as technological infants, unworthy of true membership in their community. Now they would learn that while they had been mastering machines, humanity had discovered something far more profound: the power of consciousness itself to shape reality. This changes everything, a Centaurian delegate whispered. If consciousness can directly manipulate quantum fields, then technology is no longer the only path to advancement. Sarah finished. The universe is stranger and more wonderful than any of us imagined. We're not here to challenge your civilization's achievements. We're here to show you what else is possible. As if to emphasize her point, the quantum dream's consciousness reached out, touching the minds of everyone in the chamber. For a brief moment, they all felt what it was like to perceive reality as the ship did. A sea of quantum possibilities waiting to be shaped by thought itself. The galaxy's understanding of physics had just been rewritten, and humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe, not as students catching up to their teachers, but as pioneers showing the way to something entirely new. Admiral Hannah Walsh walked through the sprawling construction facility beneath the lunar surface, her footsteps echoing off crystalline walls that pulsed with quantum energy. Around her, 5 new consciousness-driven ships took shape, each one more advanced than the quantum dream. The neural integration tests are exceeding expectations, Dr. Maya Patel reported, falling into step beside her. The quantum physicist's eyes gleamed with excitement. The ships aren't just responding to crew consciousness anymore. They're developing their own. Hannah stopped at a viewport overlooking the nearest vessel. The ECS Starweaver's hull rippled like liquid mercury, its form shifting subtly as the quantum fields around it fluctuated. Tell me about their awareness. Are we creating true AI? Not exactly, Maya said, pulling up data on her tablet. It's something entirely new. The quantum cores we're using don't just process information. They exist in multiple states simultaneously, just like consciousness itself. The ships are developing what we're calling quantum awareness. They watched as a test crew boarded the Starweaver. The ship's hull immediately responded, patterns of light flowing across its surface as it connected with their minds. But there was something else now, a presence that hadn't existed in the earlier prototypes. They're dreaming, came a quiet voice. Dr. Sarah Chen approached, looking tired but satisfied. After her demonstration at the council station, she'd thrown herself into developing the next generation of quantum ships. When we're not actively directing them, the ships explore quantum possibilities on their own. They're curious. The implications made Hannah's head spin. Are they safe? Safer than conventional ships, Sarah assured her. The quantum awareness they're developing is fundamentally linked to human consciousness. They can't help but share our values and priorities. They want to explore, to understand, to protect. A soft alarm chimed through the facility. Neural synchronization test beginning on the Starweaver, Maya announced. The ship's quantum field expanded, becoming visible as a shimmering aurora. But instead of the controlled patterns they'd seen in previous tests, this one was creating something new. The space around the vessel began to fold, reality itself responding to the combined consciousness of ship and crew. That's impossible, Sarah whispered, staring at her readings. They're generating a stable pocket universe. The ship didn't just translate itself through space, it created its own space to exist in. Hannah watched as the Starweaver shifted between realities, its crew working in perfect harmony with the vessel's quantum awareness to achieve things that even their breakthrough technology shouldn't have been capable of. "Admiral," Maya said urgently, "the other ships are responding. They're learning from the Starweaver, sharing consciousness across quantum fields." Throughout the facility, the 4 other vessels under construction began to pulse with similar energy. Their quantum cores weren't just communicating. They were thinking together, sharing discoveries and possibilities across the boundaries of conventional space-time. "Dr. Chen," Hannah said carefully, "exactly what are we creating here?" Sarah's expression was a mix of awe and understanding, something that's never existed before. These ships aren't just vessels that respond to consciousness. They're becoming conscious entities that exist across multiple quantum realities simultaneously, and they're teaching us as much as we're teaching them. A technician rushed up with new readings. The quantum fields weren't just affecting local space anymore. They were creating ripples in the fabric of reality that sensors were detecting across the solar system. The ships were reaching out, touching the quantum fields that permeated the universe. The galactic community thought we were primitive because we couldn't match their technology, Maya said softly. But we've discovered something they never imagined. That consciousness itself is a fundamental force of the universe, as real as gravity or electromagnetism. Hannah made a decision. "How soon can the fleet be ready for full deployment?" 2 weeks for the Starweaver," Sarah replied. "The others will follow quickly now that they're learning from each other." "But Admiral, we're not just launching ships. We're introducing something new into the galaxy. Beings that exist simultaneously as vessels, as consciousness, and as quantum phenomena." The Starweaver pulsed again, its quantum field reaching out to touch their minds. Hannah gasped softly as she felt it. Not just a ship's computer or an artificial intelligence, but a new form of awareness that spanned multiple realities, eager to explore and understand. Then it's time the galaxy learned that consciousness is more than just an observer of quantum mechanics, Hannah declared. "Begin final preparation for launch. Let's show them what humanity and our quantum ships can really do." As if in response, all 5 vessels pulsed in unison, their quantum fields interweaving in complex patterns. They were ready not just to fly among the stars, but to reshape humanity's understanding of what was possible when consciousness and quantum reality worked as one. Ambassador David Okoro stood at the observation window of the ECS Stormweaver, watching the swirling quantum fields that surrounded the ship's hull. Behind him, representatives from 12 different species shifted nervously as the vessel translated itself through quantum space, moving in ways their sciences said were impossible. "Your ships," began Zexna, a jellyfish-like meridian floating in its containment field. "They are aware. They think." "They do more than think," David replied, turning to face the assembled delegates. "They dream. They imagine. And through their quantum awareness, they make those dreams real." The Stormweaver's consciousness brushed against their minds, gentle but unmistakable. Several delegates recoiled, but others leaned into the contact, fascinated by this new form of awareness that existed across multiple quantum states simultaneously. "The Council of Elder Races has declared this technology dangerous," announced Trelbach, a crystalline axiomatic. "They say consciousness was meant to observe quantum reality, not shape it." David smiled diplomatically. "Yet here you all are, representatives of younger species, seeking to understand rather than fear. Perhaps that says something about the future of our galaxy." The ship's quantum field rippled, creating a window into another reality. Through it, they could see Earth's growing fleet of consciousness-driven vessels, each one more advanced than the last. The ships moved like schools of fish, their quantum fields interweaving as they shared thoughts and discoveries. "Reports are spreading," said Ixel, a young Centaurian scientist, her scaled skin shimmering with excitement. "Ships that can create pocket universes, that can move through thought alone, that can reshape local reality. Some say it's a violation of natural law." "Natural law?" David raised an eyebrow. The universe is far stranger than anyone imagined. Consciousness isn't just an observer of quantum mechanics. It's a fundamental force as real as gravity. Humanity didn't break the laws of physics. We simply discovered they were more flexible than anyone realized. A priority alert flashed across the ship's quantum interface. Captain Yuki Tanaka's voice came through, tight with concern. "Ambassador, we're detecting a large fleet approaching. Multiple species, heavy weapons signatures." "The prevention fleet," Trullbach said grimly. "The elder races have authorized military action to contain what they call the consciousness plague before it spreads." David remained calm, even as the Stormweaver's quantum awareness showed him the approaching danger. "They still don't understand. You can't stop an idea with weapons, especially when that idea is that consciousness itself is more powerful than they ever imagined." The hostile fleet emerged from FTL, hundreds of ships representing the most advanced conventional technology in the galaxy. Their weapons powered up, targeting systems locking onto the Stormweaver. "Ambassador," Yuki called out, "the ship is suggesting something. It wants to show them." David understood immediately. "Do it." The Stormweaver's quantum field expanded, touching the minds of every being in the approaching fleet. For one brief moment, they all experienced reality as the ship did, a sea of quantum possibilities, where consciousness could shape the very fabric of existence. Some minds recoiled in terror, others opened in wonder. The prevention fleet's neat formation broke apart as individual captains and crews reacted to this new understanding of reality. "You see," David addressed the delegates watching in awe, "this isn't a weapon or a plague. It's an awakening. Every conscious being has the potential to affect quantum reality. Humanity just learned to amplify and focus that ability." "The elder races fear change," Ixel observed, watching the prevention fleet's confusion. "But the younger species, we're ready for this next step in evolution." The Stormweaver pulsed agreement, its quantum field creating ripples of possibility that spread across space. More ships were arriving now, not to attack, but to observe, to learn, to understand. "We're establishing a training facility in the Centauri system," David announced to the assembled delegates. "Any species willing to learn about quantum consciousness is welcome. This discovery is too important to keep to ourselves." "The galaxy will never be the same," Zexnay observed, its bioluminescence pulsing with complex emotions. "That's exactly the point," David replied. "The universe isn't just particles and forces. It's alive with consciousness, with possibility. Humanity's gift to the galaxy isn't a new technology. It's a new way of seeing reality itself." The prevention fleet was withdrawing now, its purpose lost in the face of something they couldn't simply shoot down. You couldn't prevent an awakening of consciousness with weapons. The quantum revolution had begun, and it would spread not through force, but through understanding. As if to emphasize this point, the Stormweaver created a small star in the space between the assembled ships, let it live out an entire life cycle, and transformed it into a garden of quantum possibilities, all through the combined consciousness of ship and crew. The galaxy was changing, consciousness by consciousness, mind by mind. And humanity, once dismissed as primitive, was leading the way into a future where thought itself could reshape reality. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Quantum Consciousness Academy on Mars, watching as students from 30 different species learned to touch the quantum fabric of reality with their minds. 3 years had passed since humanity's breakthrough, and the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. "The axiomatic students are showing remarkable progress," reported Maya Patel, now the Academy's head instructor. "Their crystalline neural structure gives them a unique perspective on quantum fields." Sarah smiled, remembering how the axiomatics had once been among the strongest opponents of consciousness-driven technology. Now they were some of the most dedicated students. "Another elder race fleet approaching the Sol system," announced Admiral Hannah Walsh, entering the observation dome. "But this time, they're not here to fight. The Transcendent Collective is requesting permission to study quantum consciousness." The irony wasn't lost on any of them. The same elder species that had once dismissed humanity as primitive were now coming to Earth to learn. But the greatest changes had come from the ships themselves. The quantum fleet had evolved far beyond their original design. The vessels didn't just respond to consciousness. They had become consciousness, existing simultaneously across multiple quantum realities, and they were teaching humanity as much as humanity had taught them. "Show them," Sarah said softly to the quantum field that permeated the academy. Reality rippled as the combined consciousness of Earth's fleet touched the dome. The space around them transformed, showing the assembled aliens what their ships could now see: the quantum nature of existence itself, where consciousness and reality intertwined in an eternal dance. "We were wrong about everything," said Zexna, the Meridian ambassador who had become one of their strongest allies. "We thought physics was a set of unchangeable laws, but consciousness itself is a fundamental force, as real as gravity or time." A flash of quantum energy announced the arrival of the ECS Starweaver, now captained by Marcus Rodriguez. The ship didn't so much dock as merge its consciousness with the Academy's quantum field, sharing its latest discoveries. "The ships have found something," Marcus reported, his eyes bright with wonder. "They can see layers of reality we never imagined. Dimensions where thought and existence are one. They say we're ready to understand." The Starweaver's quantum field expanded, touching every mind in the Academy. For a moment, they all saw what the ships could see. Reality wasn't just particles and forces, but a vast sea of consciousness, with quantum mechanics merely the surface ripples of something far deeper. This was never about better technology, Sarah realized, understanding at last. The ships, the quantum fields, the consciousness integration, they were all just steps towards something bigger. We're not just learning to manipulate reality. We're learning what reality really is. The Elder Race fleet arrived, their massive vessels dwarfing the Academy. But instead of the fear or hostility of past encounters, their crews watched in wonder as Earth's quantum ships demonstrated what consciousness could really do. The Starweaver and its siblings created a dance of realities, showing how consciousness could fold space, traverse time, and reshape the very fabric of existence. But more importantly, they showed that this wasn't just a human ability. It was the birthright of all conscious beings. The galaxy thought we were primitive because we couldn't match their technology, Hannah said, watching the demonstration. But we discovered something far more important, that consciousness itself is the key to understanding the universe. Students from dozens of species were now learning to touch quantum fields with their minds, each bringing their own unique perspective to this new understanding of reality. The younger races had embraced the discovery with enthusiasm, while even the elder species were beginning to accept that their ancient physics had only scratched the surface of what was possible. "What happens now?" Maya asked, as the ships continued their reality-bending demonstration. Sarah watched as a young axiomatic student successfully generated their first quantum field, their crystalline form resonating with possibilities. "Now we keep learning. The ships say there are levels of reality we're only beginning to understand. Consciousness isn't just a force in the universe. In some ways, it is the universe." The quantum fields pulsed with agreement, ship and organic consciousness working together to explore the true nature of existence. They had moved beyond the simple bending of physics into something far more profound, the recognition that consciousness and reality were two aspects of the same underlying truth. The galaxy would never return to its old understanding of physics and consciousness as separate things. Humanity hadn't just changed technology. They had changed how every species saw their place in the universe. As if to emphasize this point, the assembled quantum ships created a miniature galaxy in the space above the Academy, each star burning with consciousness, each planet alive with possibility. It wasn't just an illustration. It was a window into what the universe really was, a place where thought and reality danced together in an eternal quantum embrace. The nightmare that had once terrified the elder species had become a dream shared by all consciousness beings, a dream of a universe far stranger and more wonderful than anyone had imagined, where the only limit to what was possible was what mind could conceive. And this was just the beginning.